Hi guys, and welcome to the Renault Zoe, a car I have never driven before until today, and I've got one for the full day. So let's see if it's as good as the owners say it is. So this is the Zoe. That there, where the big badge is basically the charging flap. If I hold that down, it opens up to reveal the chameleon charge port. That's where all of the car is charged from. Obviously, it's quite easy to get a private registration for one of these Zoes. You've got the LED daytime running lights at the front, and I have to say, I actually quite like the look of the Zoe. It's got the small kind of French chic look to it. Now this is based on the Clio chassis, and I believe it shares it with the Nissan Note and the new Nissan Micra, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you can kind of see the profile of the Clio in the Zoe there. It is, however, a bit bigger than the Clio. It's a little bit longer and a little bit taller due to the batteries going along the bottom there. You have, of course, 5 doors, the rear of which you open up using that, if that is, of course, you unlock the car. There we go. The rear is easy to get into. It's really big entrance, however not the biggest interior at the back. I will go inside the car in a minute. You get the kind of trademark blue light clusters there, which kind of highlight the eco nature of the car. This, as you can see, is an iZoe 40. This is actually a 41 kilowatt hour battery in total, which makes the range very impressive. You'll get about 180 miles in weather like this and about 140 in colder winters. Now the boot, which I haven't actually looked at yet, let's have a look. I promise I didn't know that was in there. I will tell you about them in a minute. It is actually a big boot. I mean, a lot bigger than I thought. It's a little bit bigger than the Clio's and not far off the size of the Nissan Leaf's boot. Now there is one significant issue I have just spotted with the Zoe, and that's the seats at the back there do not split. If you want to fold the seats down to put something big in, all of it has to go down. So the boot is actually pretty impressive. Actually, it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. You've got the alloy wheels on this version, of course, 5-door as I've said. The interior I will come to in a second, but that gives you a kind of a brief glimpse inside there. It is pretty much lifted from the Clio with a few changes. I have the quite cheap, if I'm honest, key card, which you put in this little slot there. That turns the car on and you get this nice TFT screen. It's not as big as some cars, but I actually quite like that. And then of course you've got this R-Link display here. So if I turn the car on by pressing this button there, problem with map, you cannot use the map on this device. That's not a good start. So have we come across a fault on the Renault Zoe already? I hope not. Let's come back to that in a moment. So you have the gear selector down here, which is basically parking, reverse, neutral and drive, of course. Standard normal handbrake. Here is the eco button, which obviously turns the car from eco mode to normal mode. The dashboard kind of suffers from the same sort of things that every single electric car suffers from, and that's cheap interior itis, which is basically we need to save money somewhere to pay for the batteries, so we'll make the materials a little bit cheaper. Now that's not to say it's bad build quality. It does look pretty solid in here, and I doubt there's going to be any rattles either, but you do have this kind of plastic scratchy stuff. This bit here is kind of soft touch. I kind of like that. Maybe if that was the rest of the dash, it would increase kind of the feel of the car, but of course the cost as well. But you do have this cheap kind of plastic throughout the cabin here. The steering wheel, not too bad, nothing special, nothing bad. Again, buttons, functional but not exactly rock solid. If I just shut the door for a second, and you have these again, not exactly expensive switchgear. The seats aren't too bad. If I just spin myself round, you get the little logo on the driver's side there for the ZE Zero emissions. What I do want to do now is get in the back of the car to see what it's like for the passengers. Excuse my coat. Okay, that's better. That's definitely a bit better. I have a little bit of leg room there. Again, I wouldn't want to spend a long journey in this car, but it's not too bad actually. Assuming you've not got 6'4" adults in there, I think you'll be okay. Now, before we go no further, I just want to say a big thank you to E-Vision Electric Car Hire Rental. They are the ones that have made this video possible. This, folks, is how YouTube works for small channels. It's not a sponsored video. They've given me the car. I give them a mention. I'm at Diggerland in Yorkshire, which is a pickup point for them. They're also based in Diggerland in Devon and Stroud, Kent. You can rent a Zoe, i3, and of course, loads of Teslas. So once again, thank you E-Vision for letting me do this. And if you do want to hire one from them, I will put their website in the description below. So let's have a look at what the Zoe is like now to drive. Alright, let's take this bad boy out then. I quite like the indicator noise. Foot down. Is that it? Really? Ah. Eco board. I'll take that off. That's better. It's not quite got that Leaf urgency, but it's very close. Every EV has this quiet cabin, of course, because of the lack of engine noise. So you always feel like you're in a car that's kind of a step above the classics in. I would say it handles a little bit better than the Leaf. The Leaf's kind of a bit blamongy around the twisties. Again, it's expected. This isn't great, but it's better. Alright, pressing this, what looks like speed limiter or cruise control button and nothing's happening. How the hell do I turn it on? Oh, doesn't seem to do it. Ah, what's that do? Nothing works! Does any of these buttons work on this damn car? Hello? Hello? Right, maybe I could turn this on. I'm trying to turn the music off, but keep the screen on. So you have to turn the volume down to keep the screen on but the music off. That's a bit stupid. I wonder what if I press R down. If I press R now, what happens? Nothing! Oh, the button's down here, what do these do? Speed limiter! Plus and minus. There we go! Right, so that's it. You turn them on there. Got you now. Right, I'm there. It's less stupid now because I've figured it out. Now, does the Zoe have the power to overtake a cyclist? Yes. Now. Yes, presumably. Okay. Right, speed camera beeps. It does that. Now, either I'm very high or this thing's not right. If I was a bit taller, I wouldn't be able to see the speedometer. Can this go down? Can you not? You can't lower the seat. Okay, I'm going to try eco mode now. What? What's beeping? There's no indication to tell me what's beeping. What are you beeping for? Regen. Quite light. I wonder if there's a way of increasing that. It does feel a little bit smaller than the Leaf that I'm used to, because obviously it is. But ultimately, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. Wafts along nicely. Let's try and sort this position out of this thing. I can change that bit. Oh, reach and rake. Okay. If you've got a bit of a back problem, I don't know if that's going to be an issue for you. I mean, there's very little adjustment in this thing. Address. Okay. Right. Back in the drive. So it's a TomTom sat-nav then, which I haven't had one for a while, but I am familiar with, and there should be nothing wrong with that. Is there a way of showing the actual percentage on the screen? I do like to see the percentage of the battery, because I'd rather go off that than the guessometer. Okay. Right, I'm connected on Bluetooth. Brilliant. That was fairly painless. Is there any way of getting the percentage bar on the TFT display? So I have to turn it off and on again, basically, to
yeah, so get out of the car, shut it, open the door again, but it's locked, unlock it, and then it will show the percentage on the screen.
You can't have a percentage display on here unless I turn the car off, get out, and get back in again. I've just spotted an absolute ton of solar panels on that roof, and there are charge points. I am at a destination, Diggerland, as I've said, with charge points for not just Teslas but any electric car, and they've got a ton of solar panels, which is really nice to see. Right, let's see what this thing's like to park. Reverse. Yep. Okay. Now it's got the beeps, so I guess you don't have to worry too much about that. Back window is a little bit high, if I'm honest. It's a bit small, but not massively an issue. There we go. Right then, that's the Zoe. You know, I had a bit of a preconception of this car. They are still pushing the battery leasing, which no other company does. No one. Even Nissan stopped doing it because people didn't want to. But they're still pushing people down that route. It really annoys the hell out of me. Of course you can buy a battery owned car, so I guess not much of an issue. But it is a bit of an annoyance. And it's French. Now don't hate me for this, but ultimately they do have a reputation for electrical build quality. And obviously this is an electric car. A French electric car. So I had this kind of semi-negative view before I even got in the car. I have to say that I do quite like it. I do quite like it. There are a few things which annoy me though. You can't put the seat up and down. There's no lumbar adjustment as far as I can tell. You don't have a percentage bar, of course, and it's not as big as I would need in my personal life. But as just a car in general terms, I don't actually mind it. Obviously the build quality is what it is. It's not bad by any means. There's no rattles in here. It seems very solid. It's not like something's going to fall off. But yeah, the plastics and materials that are used in the cabin, as many other EVs do, of course, aren't the best. And they've done this black gloss thing which Nissan did on the Leaf. It looks great in brochures, but when you're using it in the real world, it's like an iPad screen, just full of fingerprints. And of course onto the range. This still says it's got 162 miles on it, and I'm guessing it's at about 80%-ish. So yeah, the range is excellent, absolutely brilliant. In this weather I could probably get 120 miles without too much effort in the Leaf, the 30 kilowatt hour Leaf. This, I reckon I could get above 200 if I wanted to. If only it was just a bit bigger. It'd be fine for 90% of my journeys, but I don't know, if we want to go camping or something like that, which we do quite often, this would not be big enough, I'll say it now. And of course there's the split rear seats that don't split at all, which is, again, why Renault, why? The key card is not really a big fan of, if I'm honest. It does look a little bit like one of those remote controls you get for LED bulbs, so you can change the colour on them. So I suppose what I'm saying is, it's not far from being a really, really good EV. If you don't need the space, I'm struggling to find reasons to not get one. There's the little niggles I've mentioned. The range, of course, is excellent. I'm not sure how I'd feel with the lesser battery version, because obviously range is kind of king in electric car territory. But if you can get one of these at a good price, it's awfully tempting. I would personally only go for the battery owned version, which this is actually. This is an iZoe. If it says iZoe in front of it, it's a battery owned Zoe rather than a leased one. However, good luck finding one. I've just had a look on Auto Trader and there are currently 3 fully battery owned iZoes on Auto Trader right now, and that's of any age. It's got almost 90 bhp, so it's not slow, but it's not fast by any means. Around perfect. But yeah, when you do get onto that kind of motorway level, I mean, if you want to go from say 50 to 70, it is quite lethargic. But again, you've got to have expectations of what you're buying here. It isn't a hot hatch, it isn't a fast car, it's good enough. To make sure you don't miss the weekly videos I post up, click the subscribe button below, and thank you for watching. I'm quite impressed with this car, I quite like it. I won't have one myself because it's physically not big enough for some of the journeys I do, but ultimately if size isn't a problem for you, yeah, it's got its flaws, it's got a few things that are annoying, but ultimately it is a good EV. And in the 41 kilowatt hour version, the range is superb. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.